What's up, guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for the support. Last week we were actually just talking about a second ago about the manager stuff and bits and bobs like that. And it was nice to see the conflicting of opinions, I guess. It's going to be an interesting summer. Anyway, today we're going to be talking. Oh, Harry's here. There you go. Sorry, that was a bit half-assed. We are going to be talking about the club statement that they put out today about our financial year. Obviously, it's the 1st of April tomorrow as we're recording this, which is the end of the financial year. So for all those getting a tax rebate, fuck you.
All I know is I pay council tax tomorrow.
And we're going to then talk about the Frankfurt tie, not the game, the tie. We're going to talk about both legs. And we've decided that going forward, European ties, we're going to talk about both legs in one episode and then not talk about it again until after it's finished because it's just a lot easier like that. So, some ins and outs financially then. So, June 2023, Spurs had a match receipts of £117.6 million, reduced by 11.8 million to 105.8. UEFA prize money has gone from 56.2 million to 1.3 million. TV and media has gone up by 6.9 million. Other commercial revenue has gone up by 18.5 million. And our total revenue has decreased by 19.4 million. Profit from other things has gone from 138.7 million to 144.9 million, and our loss for the period has gone from 86.8 million to 26.2 million. So for those people that don't understand what that thing is, the club's making less of a loss. It's making more profit from other revenues than what it was last year. Less match day profit, no money from Europe, which is what happens when you shit. And everything else is almost identical. I say almost identical. There's tens of millions of pounds in it, but for a club like Spurs, it's almost identical. So our total revenue decreased by 4% from the last fiscal year. Sorry, I've gone over all those in detail. Our total net debt as of the 30th of June 2024 is 772.5 million. The previous year was 677.4 million. Our interest rate on that loan for our stadium is 2.79%. I wish my loans were that interest was that low. The borrowing span is set over 18.6 years, so allow us to be able to spend at the same time. Those of you guys know, if you earn £2,000 a month and you pay off your £500 debt at £800 a month, you can have less money to spend. Same principle, which is relatively smart. No dividends have been paid as per the previous year, which is good. So, statement reads as follows. Ange Postecoglou's first season in charge saw us finish 5th place in the Premier League. Chris Davies left at the end of the season to become Birmingham City manager. A bunch of other shit about management. Our summer 23 signings are Luka Vuskovic, who's had an incredible season, by the way. I'm really excited to see what he does next season. Brennan Johnson, Valise, Mickey van der Ven, Ashley Phillips, Manuel Solomon, James Maddison, Vicario, Pedro Porro, Kuzeski were joined by Dragusin and Werner in the January window. Archie Grain joined in June 2024. Thomas Solanke, also on about Lucas Bergvall, Anthony Kunsky, Man Ying Hook, Kevin Danso, and Tell were all for technically next year's financial year. So we won't talk about that. Non-football revenue operations, multiple commercial partners, including BetMGM, sleeve share partner Kraken, and our training wear partner. We were granted permission to allow up to 30 major non-football events at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium per calendar year. It was confirmed during this period the stadium will host matches during the Euro 2028 tournament. The club and NFL have announced an expansion of our partnership through to the 2029-2030 season, which was originally meant to be 2 years. It's now been extended. F1 Drive opened to the public in February 2024 and has gained 20,000 visitors in the first year, which actually isn't that bad. I think that's actually higher projected than what I thought it was going to be, and I still haven't been yet either. So All these revenues, false alarm, guys. Current statement is about to be fake. All these revenues are reinvested in the men's and women's squads and contribute towards our ability to operate within the profit and sustainability rules, which that last bit is true. Off the pitch, we regained our status as the Premier League's greenest club. Yay!
Yay!
Achieving ISO 2021 certification. Now, generally, right, if we were actually achieving things on the pitch, I'd have no problem with this. I personally think the bigger companies, the bigger football clubs have a duty to be greener, to be more efficient, to be better with things like wastage, to be better things like, recycling and things like that. I have no problem with the club looking to gain those targets. We'll talk about the rest in a minute. But what I'm saying is this isn't a bad thing. The only reason we have a problem with it is because we're shit on the pitch. Would you agree with that as a first statement?
Yeah.
There we go. The club construction spent on the planned hotel next to the stadium was $3 million. It will be part of a larger development with external stakeholders. This is a long-term project and will see the non-recourse of the club and be part of the redevelopment of the High West Road, which again, right? Taking the football side of things out for a second, the whole point of us getting the stadium, and I remember we actually had the conversation back at the time when the planning was officially approved, or when they started working, I can't remember, at some point in 2017, early 2017, I think it was, late 2016, early 2017, we were talking about it. And we were happy that it was going to improve that area of London. So I've got no problem with that, but again, it should not be second to the football club. One thing I am proud of being a Tottenham fan is the work we do in the community, the effort we've made to improve that area of London, the tube station, the other things that Tottenham have done within that part of London to improve the overall quality of life. No problem with that, but it should not be second to football operations. Anyway, end of our year results of our club sponsored the school continue to get 37% grades A star or A, with 72% A star to B minus, which is above the national average. Again, no problem with that at all. They're helping educate the next generation, so they also know why Levy's a twat. Our foundation impact report for this financial year demonstrated 20.4 million for Haringey, Enfield and surrounding London boroughs, equating to £8 for every £1 invested. The foundation delivered 7,672 sessions last year, with more than half of these supporting children and young people. They held 2 job fairs at the stadium. I remember actually when they did the first one was really, really successful. They had over 3,000 people attend both events, which again, if you've ever been to North London before, which if you're a Tottenham fan, you probably have, that area is very run down, very difficult. It's very, let's call it poverty-ridden. So the fact that the club, one of the things they did promise us that they've actually stuck to was them trying to improve that area of London, which they are making effort to do.
Great jobs, great jobs, basically.
Yeah. The club has maintained its hugely popular community ticket scheme, ensuring local residents and organisations gain entry tickets. Again, no problem with that. The stadium's not always full. The amount of times it's 61,000 or 58,000 later games, no problem with them giving spare tickets to charity, them using them to give kids their first experiences, whatever. No problem with that at all. Again, it's going to be hard to not have a damper on some of the real positives the football club does do, like the charity work, the work on kids, the educational stuff, the job fairs, the improvement on that area of London. No problem with that, but again, it should be second to footballing operations. Anyway, fan engagement. This period saw the integral year of the fan advisory board with the club. They met on 7 occasions to discuss topics that matter most to our supporters. In the end of the 2023-2024 season, they published their first fan engagement report. In September 2023, the club held its annual fan forum, giving supporters a chance to hear from a panel, including Daniel Levy, Ange Postecoglou, Robert Villam, which is our women's coach.
We definitely fucking
Shingman Son, Bethany England were attended as by fans, season ticket holders, One Hotspur members, premium members, and official club supporters. This period also saw the club celebrate 10 years of Proud Lily White, our LGBTQ Supporters Association, the creation of our first ever official supporters association for women and fans of the women's team, Women in the Lane. Again, really, really positive, and I'm glad the club got on board with that, because a lot of other clubs are having to have their own female-driven fan supporters groups to make it safe for women to go to games. I actually saw a post on. We had this conversation with Charlotte actually when she was on, but we had a conversation about when we saw a post of a girl saying she wanted to go to a game, didn't want to go on her own, didn't feel safe, whatever. And the fact that the club have done things like that and have put an actual supporters group in place now, that's good to hear. They might have done it at the time, or been in the process at the time when we did that podcast episode, because that was last year. But yeah, it's good to see. We now have over 600 supporters clubs worldwide, more than 250,000 One Hotspur members. Yeah, so not bad going, really. I must admit, I actually want to get a Luton supporters club set up. I don't know enough Tottenham fans in Luton. It's a bit annoying. Right, Daniel Levy's statement. Now, this is where I have a problem, right? As we announce our financial results for the year 30th of June 2024, we currently find ourselves 14th position in the Premier League, navigating what's been a highly challenging season on the pitch. We are, however, in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. Winning this competition would see welcome silverware and mean qualification for the UEFA Champions League. We must do everything we can to support the team in these final stages. No problem with that. Fair enough. Basically said we've been shit in the league. We might still win the Europa League. Winning is really important. Don't disagree with that at all.
He says that sort of stuff anyway.
No, but I'm just saying, because I'm trying to be fair, right? Just saying that part of the statement itself, don't disagree with. Win the Europa League, fans get a trophy, he gets Champions League, everyone's a winner. Since opening our new stadium in April 2019, we've invested over 700 million net in player acquisitions. Again, if you go and buy a bunch of broken shit, doesn't matter how much you spend, doesn't mean it's spent well.
Like I say to you, it's not the amount we spend, it's
how we spend it, yeah. Recruitment remains a key focus, and we must ensure we make smart purchases within our financial means. This is where I start to have a problem. I often read calls for us to spend more, given that we are ranked as the 9th richest club in the world. However, a closer examination of today's financial figures reveals that such a spending must be sustainable in the long term and within our operating revenues. Our capacity to generate recurring revenues determines our spending power. We cannot spend what we do not have, and we will not compromise the financial stability of this club. Indeed, our off-pitch revenues have significantly supplemented the lower football revenues this year, testament to our diverse income strategy. So, basically, he's turned around and gone, we weren't making as much, we were shit, we didn't invest enough, we didn't get Champions League football, so our income have dropped, so all this extra money we're making from all these extra things is making up for the fact we didn't get European football. So actually there's still nothing extra to spend, which is absolute dog's bollocks, because the club itself, right? The club itself can make a loss to a certain financial period, right? We could make a loss on not having European football and still spend reasonably and not have a problem. They're using that to go, all these extra streams are making up for the fact we don't make enough money this year. Listen, regardless of what you think of Tottenham, and regardless of what you think of Daniel Levy, and regardless of what you think about the club direction, agree or not, you can understand that statement is dog's bollocks. Sitting there and saying that, we made less money from other competitions, so all this extra big money that we made from all this extra shit that we promised would go back into the team is actually going back to stop my bonus going down every year. That's basically what he said. Now, I'm sorry, this fucking bald-headed prick makes 6.5, almost 6.6 million pounds a year. I'm all for all the shit we do for charity. I'm all for all the shit we do to support local area. I'm all for all the shit we do to support schools and the foundation and all of that shit. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot be one of the highest paid chairmen in the entire world. You cannot be the highest paid chairman in England. You cannot be the 9th richest club in the world. I actually think we're richer than that, but you can't be the 9th richest club in the world and sit there and say, we've got all these other revenue streams, but don't worry about it. We're going to put that up against the loss we've made from not qualifying for competition that we did because we didn't invest in the first place. Sorry?
But that's Levy for you, so that doesn't surprise me.
No, I'm not surprised, but I'm saying the audacity to basically say, well, you're not spending enough money in a club, the club's not making enough money, so all this extra money we promised you, we're going to take it so our bonuses don't drop.
The problem is all the money that would normally be spent, or what, also there's a few things that also our revenue to wages percentages.
It's dropped. We'll go over that in a second.
But I think it's the lowest in the league, or one of the lowest in the league. But also, it's like I say, it's how the amount of money spent. So he could say we spent 700 million, but like I went to you last summer and described to you about the Archie Gray Odderbert thing, yeah? There's no point in buying Archie Gray and Odderbert, who are 21, 22 years old, which does fit, again, with the transfer policy that Levy Powell himself of buying young and selling high. He's had this since 2005, okay? It's not changed in 20 years, okay? So, but if you spent that 60, 70 million, say, on like an Eze or a Neto, I'm talking just two random names, by the way. Instead of buying more youngsters, say, like what Conte said, buying 2 to 3 top class players every summer instead of 6 youngsters, the likelihood of us being in this situation, I'm not saying it's guaranteed that we won't be, but it's probably a lot less. And then you're sticking by a manager again who's got us 14th in the league that you're saying yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just. And then
all of these things are ultimately the ultimate recipe for disaster.
And you also mentioned the fact that, they want to build a hotel, okay? So I asked this to everyone, what was the point of building a new stadium? Because all we're basically becoming a property portfolio, really.
Yeah.
Because they're going to knock down Whitewebs. I think I told you this before. It's this park sort of in Enfield.
Yeah.
With the women's training ground. Now, I'm not saying I don't know if they need a training ground or not. I don't know. But, it's like all the other revenue is being spent on non-footballing things, where this revenue or this money that's being spent on a hotel or a cinema or whatever could easily be spent on the team or the wages or whatever you want to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like you're doing all the non-footballing activities which are affecting your footballing activities.
Yeah. And this is what annoys me the most as well, is the way they're doing all the non-footballing activities is absolutely brilliant. It's spot on. I've got no complaints about that at all. But the fact is, we are a football club first.
We're not anymore.
No, we're not anymore. No, but what I'm saying is we are Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, not Tottenham Hotspur Enterprise Building Societies, Tottenham Hotspur Charity. No. This is the thing that makes me the most frustrated is I think the fact that they do those things so fucking well is what annoys me the most. Do you know what? I'd be less pissed off if they didn't do the football side of things well and didn't do the other side of things well either. Because that would just show, two things, that would just show that they're stupid and they're shit at their job. But the fact that they do that part so fucking well.
Because Levy isn't a football man.
No,
he's a businessman.
He's
not a football man.
He's a control freak and a paranoid fucking... That's what he is. He must be... I'm starting to think he might be schizophrenic, He's seen all these new signings that we're not seeing.
No, but as in, he micromanages people if you read and hear hear some stuff that I've heard. Because like I told you, I've had friends who worked at Spurs and they told me some stuff about it. But as in... How do I say this? So he's a businessman, so he's going to just whip out numbers when he does these interviews. He's not going to talk about the football. And the thing is, another thing I want to say, because we praise the club for these non-footballing things like the charity work, the green...
And I will continue to praise them for those things, by the way, regardless of... not aimed at you, but aimed at whoever's watching this.
Yeah.
Regardless of what he does off the pitch, I will still praise those things, because those things are good things. Being bad at the thing that matters doesn't make those good things less good. Because Spurs fans seem to get that confused. Us being shit on the pitch and us them making the wrong decisions with the manager, with the signings, whatever, doesn't still take away from the fact that helping millions of kids in poverty is still a good thing. Helping charities and helping underperforming families and helping the local area of London and providing jobs and providing opportunities is still a good thing, regardless of how shit... And that's not me saying I'm trading one for the other.
Yeah,
we should have both, but I'm just saying we still need to... I wouldn't want the club to go and, we'll invest 100 million into the team. Let's not do any charity work at all. I wouldn't want that, because at the heart of Tottenham and the heart of the area of London and the heart of who we are as a club and who we've always been the club of the people. And even though that prick and that other prick in America or the Caribbean or wherever the fuck he is at the minute should be in a jail cell, and I don't even have to say names, you guys know who I'm talking about. Wherever those two pricks are and whatever decisions they're making, it still doesn't change the fact that doing these things is the right thing to do. Go on. Okay. I just want to get in there because people will sit there and go at it.
Those things, I'm not going to say it because I hope it doesn't come out wrong. What I'm saying is those things for me are not linked, like the charity work and the green stuff are not linked to the football side of the club, because there's tons of other teams in the league who do this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
The difference with Tottenham is they'll do these things, and instead of mentioning them here and there sort of thing, like other clubs do, they might mention, we did a job fair.
It almost becomes the forefront of...
He uses these things to try and make the club seem more successful as success,
Yeah.
and the whole. That's why I mentioned charity work, because he doesn't have anything football to talk about, does he?
Yeah.
It's all just nonsense. And listen, like I said, but there's other clubs out there who do these things.
As well.
Maybe they're
Maybe not
second.
to the same level that we do, but
Maybe
the
they're
difference
second
is
in
there's
the
more of
green.
a balance with
Maybe
them.
they're second in the green then. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they finished second, so the first in the green, whatever it was, trophy thingy. But like, honestly, what I'm saying is that there's other clubs doing these things who are higher us in the league probably that they don't talk about it because they don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because the club will say, oh well, Slot took us to the semi. We were knocked out by Madrid. We're going to probably win the league with this many points above. These other clubs don't need to talk about these things. Only Tottenham talk about non-footballing matters as
Yeah.
if they're like successful things for the football club.
When in reality, they should just be a further enhancement of who we are as a football club and not the entire backbone.
Because even when we were White Hart Lane, they were still doing this sort
Yeah,
of
they're
thing.
still doing these things, yeah.
Even when I was a kid in 2006, whatever it was, 2004, 4, 3, and I was going when we were crap, like on the pitch still, they were still doing those things. But the difference is that they weren't, because we didn't have social media at the time, I guess, and we didn't have, they were still doing these charity things, these greenery
Yeah.
things, like trying to help the community in some sort of way, maybe not the same level, because but like these things, every other club does these things. The difference is Tottenham blow them up.
Yeah,
As if
because they
they're
haven't
like,
got anything positive for the football side.
because when Poch was here, for example, and as an example, they were talking about Poch together THFC because the club everyone was on board with him, and the
Yeah.
club, right? Yeah, and we were Champions League, 3 or 4 years in a row. I can't remember how many years in a row, but now we're not. Most of that statement is about non-footballing
Non-footballing
things.
stuff, yeah. Just to finish it then, he says, I want to thank everyone who supports us through the good times and bad. We are resilient and passionate about our club. We shall aim to finish this season as strongly as we can and continue to build for success on the pitch. No Levy coys this time, just Daniel Levy. And let me just find Paul O'Keefe's tweet earlier about the revenue. Spurs' account show wage drops to 222 million, down 12% since last year. There's quite a few decreases that doesn't include as well. The game-changing stadium has seen a wage decrease year on year since opening, and a sale of the best player in the club's history. They don't even try and hide it now. And actually, so 2023, our wages were 173 million. They're now 161 million. So it's such a kick in the teeth because there's so many positive things that we do as a football club to sit there and talk about and be proud of and really proud of. But it's so hard to talk about those things seriously because the part that we care about, I don't want to say the part we care about the most because it's probably a bad way to word it, but the part that's important to a football club above all else
The football.
is the part that they're the worst at.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because I'd love to sit there and talk about, all the hospital visits the club do. They help with local food banks, they help with this, they help with that. Like, we do so many positive things that you can really be proud of. But what's the point if we don't bother being a football club?
Like I said, what was the point in building a new stadium?
We pay people pay to watch the game. That revenue pays Daniel Levy to be the highest paid director in the league. That money pays the loan back, pays player wages, and the rest might as well be given for charity. And there's no business plan model in terms of
there is a business model.
In terms of the football side, yeah. And that's why I think, very briefly, before we move on to the Frankfurt game, or Frankfurt tie, that's why I think someone like Thomas Frank would be a benefit because he's brought data analysis for signings to Brentford, and that's how we want to build. And we had the conversation about, regardless of whether we agree or disagree with our transfer policy, if that's how we're going to operate and we're going to go for low-price, data-driven players and try and get a team that peaks all at once, then we might as well get a manager who operates in that way as well.
With me, it's more the fact that you need to bring a manager that's going to work with the transfer policy and try and make something out of it. And the problem with the buying young and selling high, and he's going to have to get used to the fact that. And I guess Frank kind of is used to that because Tony left in the end. But
Yeah.
another place he had, like, I think Watkins, was he there when
Watkins left as well, yeah.
But like, he's dealt with having young players come through or buying a player at 23, 20, whatever, building him up and setting him on. Like, he's got experience with that. And unfortunately, we have to deal with the circumstances that we're in, where this is our transfer policy, and I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Because it can only take you so far. It can only take you so far. But Frank could work within those means, basically, to like get the maximum out of it, I think, personally. But I still don't think that will deliver us, trophies. It might by accident, because it has happened by accident once. But also, I want to say one more thing before we visit Frankfurt. Spurs are a faux big club. So it might be a big club in terms of revenue, and like you said, in terms of sports revenue, we're like 9th in the world or something. But in terms of the big football club, we're really not.
We don't act and behave that way.
We don't behave that way. And the transfer policy is a metaphorical.
And for the record, by the way, we've both said in the past that we're not asking the club to go and spend £100 million on every single player, but go and pay the difference for the positions that matter for what we need for where. I wouldn't be surprised if Danso becomes a starting centre-back next year, and then we go and let the youngsters come in. And I think Voskovic, to be fair, by the end of the season, probably push his way in. But really, we should be sitting there and going and getting a player who's 24, 25, 26, who's established, who we know can do a job, who's rock solid, who we can bring in, who's going to lift the team. And we both know we're not going to do it. Anyway, let's talk about Frankfurt. So you guys are watching this on Friday. So next Thursday, we are playing Eintracht Frankfurt at home. I would say I'm working, but I don't know because I haven't made the route yet.
Just think of where they are on their league.
That's just what I'm looking for. Oh, there's a Merseyside derby on Wednesday.
Yep. Bundesliga table. They're third. Oh, great.
They were doing shit for a while. Have they changed their manager?
I don't know. The 48 points. 14, drawn 7, 6, lost 7. They're only 11 points behind Leverkusen.
Yeah, they've conceded quite away. Their goal difference is one of the third best in the league. Drawn a lot, won a lot. Let's have a look at their form. They lost 3 in a row and they've drawn the last 2. Their top goal scorer was Marmouche with 15 goals. He obviously left. Top assist was Marmouche, who's left. They average 2 goals per game, but concede 1.5 goals per game. Their average possession is about 50%. Their clean sheets is half of the second best in the league. They're 5th for big chances missed. They're 17th for long balls, 15th for crosses, so they're very much a possession-based side in terms of controlling the ball. Their form recently, they lost a random friendly. They lost to Union Berlin at home, lost to Leverkusen at home, drew to Wolfsburg at home, lost to Mainz at home, lost to Leipzig at home, drew to Augsburg at home, drew with Bayern.
They drew Bayern.
Their home form's not actually been that great, to be fair. They've got Werder Bremen, Heidenheim, Augsburg, Leipzig, Mainz, St. Paul and Freiburg left. So they've not got a lot of difficult teams left, really, in the league. They've got experience winning the Europa League, all granted with a different manager. I don't really know anything about their manager. He's 44.
What's his name?
Dino Topmoller. He's 44. He was the assistant coach at Bayern Munich till he left in March 2023. So that's interesting.
I was going to say.
Their main keeper's injured. which is good. Just trying to see what players they recognise. There were quite a lot of injuries. Oh my God.
Hmm?
So, for those of you guys that followed my FM streams last year, I had a German wonder kid at Wolfsburg when I won the treble, and his name was Kanuzan, and he plays for Frankfurt now. I'm about to have my heart broken by my wonder kid that I loved. No! Fuck! No! This is peak. He's only 19, so hopefully he won't play. I'll tell you who is on that team, though. Do you remember a certain Belgian guy that we were going to sign from Marseille?
Batshuayi.
Yep. He plays for Frankfurt.
No, I checked. They also got Götze. I know he's really old.
Yeah, he's old now.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm not gonna lie. Over the two legs, I think we'll go through just. But I think we will lose the away leg 2-1, and I think we'll win the home leg 3-1.
I'm the opposite. I think we'll win the home leg 2-1 and lose the away leg 3-1.
It's hard playing at home first.
If we were playing at home second, I'd be more
Confident,
positive. Yeah. But we have to go there with like a 3-1 lead. Like
I think personally, anything less than 3-0 at home, I think we'll struggle. I don't think the players have got. The only advantage we do have is that Son's looked a lot better playing a lot less. He looked really fresh in the last time he played, and his record against German clubs is outstanding.
That's not the same Son, though. Son hasn't played against a German club for flipping 2-3 years, probably.
Surely we've played someone in Europe, German club, surely in the last couple of years. Must have played someone.
I'm trying to think, because we've been Europa League, right?
We played Hoffenheim this year, Son scored. So that just proves that argument.
We weren't in Europe last year, were we?
No.
That's probably why I think it's like a couple of years.
Yeah, but we played Hoffenheim earlier this year and Son scored. In fact, he might have scored twice.
I mean, yeah, but Frankfurt are way better than Hoffenheim.
No, I know. He's just scored twice. No, but what I'm saying is his record against German clubs as a whole, it's like Kane in London derbies. Doesn't matter when we were playing Arsenal, Chelsea had a great run, whatever, he'd still find a way to score. In the same way, Son, when he plays German clubs, especially away in Germany, he has a really good record. He scored against Dortmund a couple of years ago, even though he got battered. Scored against Dortmund at the 3-0 win. Like, over the years, whenever we played German clubs in Europe, he's played really, really well.
Just for me, we're playing at home first. And I remember when we beat Liverpool, everyone was like, yeah, we're going to Liverpool 1-0. We have a chance. And then we went and got battered 4-0. So,
yeah, but Anfield is different.
But I just think in a European tie...
I would be slightly more concerned if it was still under Glazner or if they still had a lot of those players from that Europa League win. But given the fact that there's only a handful of names that I recognise, is a good thing for us because it means that it's not the same team that had that winning experience, if that makes sense.
But as a club, though, because obviously Seville have a history, for example, winning Europa League, right? Or winning UEFA Cup. Even though they had a different set of players, a different
manager. But they had the same manager for most of those. Unai Emery won, I believe, 5 out of the 6.
No, before that, because when one day Ramos back in 2008 won the UEFA Cup with Seville, and then they won it with another manager. This is way before Emery even joined. They had like a history of like 2 or 3 managers, I think.
Emery 3-peated it though, didn't he?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he did.
What I'm saying is, like, because they have the experience of winning it from before, I do think that plays some sort of a part. Like, as in the fans will probably have a feeling that they can do it again, especially because they're in the quarterfinals now. Like, I'm not saying it will happen, obviously, I don't know, but it's like Chelsea with Jose when Jose went in the first time.
To be fair, they won it against Rangers. Like, it's not, no disrespect to Rangers, it's not like they won it against. Yeah, they 3-peated it. They won it in 2014 against Benfica, 2015 against a team I don't even know who the fuck, a Ukrainian team, and then 2016 against Liverpool.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a tough one, to be honest.
It's mad. They did it back to back in 2006, 2007 as well.
Because I think, was that under Ramos?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They still have a history of it. They love that competition. But what I'm saying is because Frankfurt won it before, I think
Real Madrid double-peated it in 85-86.
Also, there's a massive elephant in the room, i.e. Ange Postecoglou. So, like,
Anne's got no clue.
got no clue. Exactly. So, I don't know. This might be the tricky European tie that does him. So, I just think if we're playing away first, and we went there and got only lost by a goal or something, or got a draw, I'd be more positive. But if we're playing at home first, we have to kind of win 4-1. That sounds mad, like 3-4-1 or something.
So what do you think we need? Do you think we need a 3-goal difference, or do you like?
Well, considering the way the rate we concede goals, I'll probably need like a 3-goal gap.
But this is the one thing that I actually think makes me think that we have a chance going through, as long as we win even only by a goal in the home leg. It's purely for the fact that even when we go away to teams, we still score goals.
But like what I'm saying is, I could see us winning the first leg 2-1. We go there and we lose 2-1 because we get a goal, an early goal, and they don't do us an extra time.
Yeah, I could see that happening because I definitely think we will score away from home. That's the one confidence I've got. As long as there's 11 men on the pitch, touch wood, for Spurs, I do think we will score away from home. That being said, I think something like a 3-0 or 4-1 would completely clear the tie up early on. I think the midfield pivot is going to be key because they play a 4-2-3-1, so I think we will emulate that.
Is Kulusevski going to be back? Do you know?
It doesn't look like it, no.
Okay.
I would like to see Bergvall and Gray with Maddison ahead. I think for the home tie, we need to go. I don't know what the hell my computer's doing.
What was that?
Oh, my computer decided to disconnect the HDMI cable and reconnect it again for some reason. I think we need to go and get. I think 3 goals is the magic number. I think 2, maybe. I think 3.
If he plays that midfield, we'll get eaten alive.
At home, you think?
Yeah.
Because the reason I'm thinking I want a quick goal.
But I think he'll play, and I think he should really, Bentancur and Sarr, because he won't play Basuma. Basuma's basically just phased out.
Yeah.
So Bentancur will play because he always tends to play, and then because obviously Kulusevski is still out, will be Maddison in the 10, Son on the left, Solanke in the middle, and probably.
I don't think it will be. I think the home tie, right? I think the home, just given the position that he scored for France in the international break, I think we'll go Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero, Spence, Gray, Bentancur, Maddison, Tell, Solanke, Odobert.
He won't play Son.
No, not for the home leg. I don't think so. I think he'll go with sheer blistering pace in the home leg and have
There's no way he's dropping Son. Like, Son's a captain. He's never dropped him.
Yeah, maybe. Or if not, then Son, Solanke, Odobert. I think Odobert will play. I think he will play.
Odobert will play because he played in the last couple of games.
Yeah. He's probably been one of our better looking players. It's best to have a bad bunch, mind you, but he's looked definitely a lot more driven and a lot better. The one thing I'd say with Odobert is I'd like to see him more on the right. I think he's a lot better when he hasn't got to cut in every single time.
Does he play on the right for his country or something? Or is it?
Yeah, because Tell plays on the left, I believe. So that's why he plays on the right. Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to see him. Sort of play that kind of role.
Because there's no way he's dropping Son. It'll be crazy.
Yeah.
Not that I'm against your lineup. I'm just saying I just don't think he's going to drop Son. Like, I just don't see it.
No, as much as I think it's a good idea. I think you're right. I don't think he will.
I don't think he'll play that midfield either. I think Bentancur's starting 100%, but who plays alongside him, I don't know. I think it could be Sarr if we need the legs.
The reason I think it'll be Gray is just purely because he has got the legs, but I think also his passing range has been really good. The amount of times that we've broken out and he's released the ball, and it's been a couple of really good passes. Not a couple, but do you know what I mean? There's been times where he's played the ball and we've completely relieved the pressure. I think that's why he'll go for Gray.
He only played him in midfield like once.
Yeah, because he's a fucking idiot.
So I didn't think it was that great in midfield that day, to be honest. But like for me, I think he'll just keep Gray on the bench and use him as like a utility player. Like if he needs to take off one of the centre halves.
See, I hate that, man, because I think Gray's earned more than that this season. Regardless of what people think about his ability or not, he's been Mr. Reliable. He's dropped consistent performances. He's not been error prone. Like he's filled in here, there, and everywhere. For me personally, this is the opportunity where you will leave that faith in him and go, "You bailed me out. Now it's your turn to reap the rewards of that." You know, I'd understand it if it was the away leg. I'd probably go for a bit more experience, a bit more legs.
Did you hear what Spence said in this interview before I forget? They asked him about the style of play.
No, I didn't. Was that the interview we spoke about last week?
No, but because Rio, I was watching.
Yeah, that's the one that we spoke about last week.
Yeah, because Rio was asking about the style of play. So if you're in a rough patch, does the manager allow you to drop off and like? Yeah. It's no, he wants to attack. Well, here we go. Here's the problems we've got.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, was like, the season's almost done.
He was like in a top class defense back in United, so he understood it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think we'll probably win 2-1 or by a goal, like maybe 1-0 in the first leg, and then we'll probably lose 3-1 in the second leg.
I'm going win 2-1, lose 2-1, lose in extra time.
Oh,
I'm going with that. Yeah, originally I said win 3-1, lose 2-1, but no, I think win 2-1, lose 2-1, and then lose in extra time.
I don't know. What I'm quite scared about is because like we don't know a lot of their players, right? I mean, I hope they do that. Spurs do their homework because I don't know many of their players. I only know a few of them. But like where we're underestimating Frankfurt because obviously we're saying, oh well, Glasner's not there anymore. Oh well, they sold a lot of their players like Mamouche, but some of these teams, like you know. I mean, we look at like someone like Palace in the Premier League. They sold Elise, and now they're like in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Like these, even though they lose players, sometimes it pushes the other lot who are left that are still good to be even better, and with like a siege mentality. So, I'm scared we might be underestimating them a bit because we don't know much about them.
Maybe. But I think at this point the season's been a calamity of mistakes. Why not add another one?
I just don't have a lot of faith. If it was a different manager, maybe I'll say something different. But this guy is just.
Do you need me to call George Michael? Because you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. And on that note, I think that wraps up this week. Thank you guys for listening. It's much appreciated. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. 5-star review on Spotify, all that jazz. Next week, what is the week? Next week is
we have the second leg, and then
we'll talk about whatever the league game is that weekend.
I think who it is. Let me just check. I'm sure I knew who it was. That's not Easter weekend, is it?
No, that's the week before the 13th.
I'm sure we're playing someone that. Oh, we've got Wolves away. Great.
What day is that on?
Sunday the 13th.
Fuck. Yeah, so we'll record that on the 14th. I'll have to edit it on the 14th or the 15th because obviously that week I'm in Southampton visiting my little brother. And then that Monday, he's got some friends over, so I'm probably going to leave Southampton about 10:30. I'll be back in Luton by 12:30, give or take traffic. So I'm thinking about 1:30, 2 o'clock-ish to record.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Should be fine because obviously the game's until 8 o'clock anyway. And then I can sit and edit it in that evening. And then obviously I'm back at work again for the rest of that week. First time I've had Easter off in ages because obviously I don't have kids. I don't celebrate Easter apart from eating cream eggs like a fat cunt. So it's just.
You know what? I gave up chocolate for Lent. I've got 3 weeks left.
I've given up Spurs for Lent, and Spurs have given up on me for life.
I should have done. I should have just stayed.
I've given up on Spurs for Lent, and they've given up on me for life. Yeah, sounds about good.
No, it's not like it's just like I've got into a bad habit. Like after we finish the stream or whatever,
eating chocolate.
I'll start eating chocolate.
To be fair, I bought a pizza today because I normally have a pizza on a Monday night because it's quick and easy. And I left it in the fucking fridge at work like a twat, didn't I? And when I got halfway up the hill, I was on the phone to my little brother's mum, got halfway up the hill, realised. But the problem is because we've only got like one set of keys between three of us. So they've all got, all the other management have got a back door key. And then for me, it's easy because I don't need to get in the morning because someone's already in. So what I'll do is I'll lock the back door and then lock it, leave it open, but lock it from the outside. Leave the keys in the drawer, and then slam the door closed so it's locked. And then obviously they've got the back door key to let themselves in the morning, and they can get access to the safe keys. And so obviously I couldn't even go back and get it, which is fucking annoying, whereas normally I'd have been able to. So I ended up having butter sausage and chips for dinner. That's why I was on so quick this evening.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, enough about my food habits. I'm really trying to eat healthier. But
Monday normally, so anyway.
Yeah, I normally have pizza on a Monday night because it's easier for recording. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. We can always record this Sunday, actually, because I'm off. What time's the game? 2:00?
Oh, problem with this Sunday is I don't know if I'm going to be out for dinner.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We'll keep it to Monday.
I mean, yeah, because anyway, it's a long story. I don't even know what's going on with that. I might not even go in the end, but it's just a bit of a shambles. So I'm not going to talk about it on this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. On that topic, actually, before we always spend the last 5 minutes talking about random crap because we know no one listens this far. On that topic, I'm having a barbecue on Saturday, and I've invited Harry. So hopefully, unlike my birthday, you won't. What was wrong with my? Oh yeah, you were ill, weren't you? That was it. Yeah. But Harry can smell the burgers, and he's like, "Get me some of that." So yeah, I'm sure I'll post an Instagram story or something if you end up coming up. But yeah. Make sure you subscribe, 5-star review, all that jazz. Thank you guys for watching. Fuck off, Levy, you absolute fucking bald-headed, money-grabbing cunt. Fuck you and your bonus. Come on, you Spurs.
Inquiries.
Why you got to say it like that, man? That's how Daniel Levy says it. We don't want that. I'll see you guys next week. Come on, you Spurs.